That, what? Oh my God, that's ugly.
Terry, you're there, right?
I just saw Carissa. She said, "How are you and Poppy?" And so I was just wondering. I went to the doctor yesterday. They said I kind of overreacted.
Oh.
What do you mean overreacted?
Well, they
Hi.
well, I'm like, you guys are controlling me because I have no idea what I'm doing right at this moment. They just kind of said that they think it was an old blood clot that I saw. And I said, but the nurse did say go to the emergency room, but they're going to take him off the Lovenox and put him back on the Coumadin because they said maybe the cancer had come back, blah, blah. That was the doctor Friday night said, Coumadin doesn't work. Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure if this is being recorded. I just thought I'd let you know.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
There isn't anything private about this.
No. Okay. Because remember when I kidded with you last time? Danielle said, now this is being recorded. So I said, okay. Yeah.
But, he can go back on the warfarin.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm sorry to interrupt. Hello, everybody. We have to get started. We have an insanely crammed day. Sorry I sent out the incorrect information, but you guys are here, so that is great. And I think people will be joining in the next few minutes. It's lovely to see all of your beautiful faces.
And yours too.
And Leslie, we're just imagining your face.
And yours too, Daniela.
Peggy.
And can she say her name again for me? Is it Aisha?
Oh, it's Aisha.
Aisha and Aisha too. Two beautiful young ladies.
And Stephen's beautiful face.
And of course, yes. Yeah. Stephen. Hi,
and
Stephen.
Thomas is over there. He's hiding, but he also has a beautiful face.
Yeah, who's hiding?
Thomas, our IT hero.
Oh,
so, okay, so we are going to do a really quick hello. So everybody is going to say hello, and then you're going to say really quickly the best thing that's happened to you today so far in like one sentence. Terry, we're starting with you.
Oh, okay. I get to see all of your beautiful faces, but especially I love my Carissa and Peggy.
Love it.
So sweet.
All right, Sandy.
Yeah.
Hello. The best thing that happened today is I wasn't late getting on here, and it's been a busy morning.
You are a hero. Jensen.
Good morning. Best thing that happened to me today was I got an A. Hard work pays off. Patient A1C dropped below 7, so getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Round of applause for that. Very nice. All right, Carissa.
Hi, everybody. The best that's happened today, I woke up, and I'm going from there.
That's such a good way to start the day, is by waking up. Well done. All right, Anna.
Okay, the best thing that happened to me today is I was able to connect on time also.
You guys are all heroes. Well done. All right, Sabrina.
The best thing that happened to me was getting out of my house on time and to work, which never happens.
I'm noticing a theme of on timeness today, and I'm feeling like I need some of that for me. So pass it my way if you have extra. Love it. All right, Peggy.
I enjoyed my cup of coffee this morning.
Love that.
Yes.
All right, Leslie.
Good morning, everyone. Best thing that happened to me this morning, I shaved 50 seconds off my 5K time.
Woo!
Oh.
Doing your productivity in the morning. I'm just so impressed with you. Well done, Leslie. All right, Jessica, we're just saying in one sentence the best thing that's happened to us so far today.
Hi, Jessica here. The best thing that's happened to me so far today was the IT people giving me the correct connection information for this clinic.
Yay! That was totally on me, the bad part. The good part is IT. Thank you, Jessica.
I've been sitting in a room waiting for the host to start the meeting for like probably 10 minutes.
Sorry.
Okay.
The good news is you have a beautiful office to wait in. She has a beautiful office. It's all like gold and black and pink themed.
That's why I stay here instead of going down there where you guys are.
Fair. Totally fair. All right, Steven, best thing that's happened to you so far today?
My name's Steven. I killed it in the gym today.
Yeah, you did. Very good. All right, Aisha.
All right. Hi, I'm Aisha from Project Echo, and the best thing that happened to me today was that Jessica updated the diabetes standard of care for 2017. So, props.
Yeah. Well done. All right, Thomas, best thing that's happened to you today?
Best thing that's happened to me today so far would have to be my breakfast burrito.
Yeah, that's legit. I'm jealous of that. All right. Nobody else has joined so far. All right. My best thing that's happened to me so far today is I had a kind of relaxing morning, which rarely happens, so I'm pleased at it. Hi, Chris. We are just saying in one sentence the best thing that's happened to us today. So go. We're still on mute.
Okay, the best thing that's happened to me today, an appointment that wasn't supposed to happen for 2 weeks got moved up, and I'm happy about it.
Love that. I love when stuff works out. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to go ahead and get started because time. And I think that people will be joining as we go. Chris.
Do you want me to start texting? Can we text people? I just lucked out getting the new message. But I could have sat there for a lot longer looking at that little thing spinning.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, if you have anybody's phone number who you don't see on here and you wanted to text them, that would be awesome.
Terry's there. Okay.
Yeah. And we'll be working on contacting people on this end. I'm really sorry, guys. That is like totally my bad.
No biggie.
But yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. Did all of you give me a thumbs up if you got my email about the 15 minutes thing? You got my email. Okay, give me that thumbs up if you responded to my very clever survey. Survey Monkey. Thumbs up. Okay. Thank you all. We will address that later. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Carissa, why don't you kick us off with your case presentation? So Stephen is going to pull up iEcho and go and pull your case up, and he's going to share his screen. Are you shared screen yet? Mm-hmm. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you can see Stephen's screen. Perfect. Anna, can you see Stephen's screen yet? No. Okay. We will work on that. All right. So we're going to go through Carissa's case presentation. And then unfortunately, due to time, we are only going to have time for a few questions and a few comments about the case presentation. So when you ask your questions, just be really, really mindful that you're keeping in mind what Carissa's question is before we go off on tangents around questions, and then also comments. And if you have additional comments that you don't have a chance to share, please email them to me or call me later today, and I'll make sure that Carissa gets everything. So that's going to be sort of the deal for the case presentations. So welcome, Teresa. Hi, sorry about the mix-up with the phone number. Totally my bad. We're glad you're here. We're going to get started on case presentations. So, Carissa.
Good morning. This is Anna Chavez.
Hi, Anna. Thanks for calling in. Sorry about the wrong phone number. That was my bad.
No problem.
So we're going to go ahead and get started on case presentations. So, Carissa, kick us off.
All right. So, I wasn't here for last week, sorry, but I'm Carissa. I'm a student, and so my patient's age is 29. She's a female. Her ethnicity is white and Spanish. My main question about the patient is how to help her lose fat specifically, because she is active, watches what she eats, and gets at least 6 to 7 hours of sleep every night. The patient's goal is to lose body fat, specifically to tighten the stomach area. Patient strengths in general, she's active through coaching. She is aware of eating habits and open to improve. Overall, she's pretty positive towards exercise. It's not like anything that scares her or, you know, she's not willing to try. She does exercise, cardio 3 to 4 times a week, an hour at least each time. The barriers to exercise is a bad back and not getting the results that she wants. It's kind of like she seems pointless. So the diet, right? So she eats twice a day, but no breakfast, like no breakfast food, usually salads or side dishes for dinner. Lunch consists of leftovers. And as the recall for the food that she did eat for her diet for that day, coffee while she's up on the road or to work, 12 ounces. She only drinks 1 cup or 1 12-ounce serving. For lunch, it's either leftovers or she just will skip it while she's at work. It's usually approximately half the size of the dinner from the night before. Chips and salsa, definitely a weakness of hers, and likes to munch on that as a snack. Dinner, as you see, just, you know, some type of meat with veggies and salads, and a starch side, so like corn or bread or something like that. And the beverage, a beer or a Sprite at night, always at the dinner table. Late night snacks, small serving of ice cream. I didn't understand the eating competency self-assessment total. Max, I didn't, that's why there's a question mark there, because I didn't understand that.
Yeah, that's okay. We can touch on that.
Cool. So yes, has a PCP. Within the last 6 months, it's been more than 6 months since she's gone to see the doctor. So I don't know, thought that was a little concerning. Her height is 5'4", BMI is 27, so she is overweight. But she doesn't have diabetes or cardiovascular disease. Did administer. She got 1 for the PAR, the little questions I asked her. No substance abuse problems, no behavioral concerns, no cultural considerations. Nobody is obese, you know, that's in the house with her. And no medications. The only problem is the back pain, but she doesn't take any medications for that. So, any clarifying questions? Or no, we're not doing that, Daniela.
Cool. No worries. So I'm just going to summarize it really quick, and then Carissa, tell me if the summary is good or if you'd add anything else, and then we'll do a few questions.
Cool.
Great job. Thank you so much, Carissa. So I'm just going to summarize the case. So Carissa's client is a 29-year-old female of Anglo and Spanish heritage. Her BMI is 27, and her sort of goal and question is how to lose fat around her middle specifically, but overall how to lose weight. She suffers from back pain, but she's currently not on any medications for that. She hasn't been to a doctor in over 6 months. And overall, her eating is pretty healthy. She eats about 2 times per day, but that doesn't include snacking. Does that about summarize it for you, Carissa?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Cool, thank you. So just for everybody who joined a little bit late, apologies, totally my bad about the phone number. So we're kind of at a time crunch today because we have 3 case presentations. So we're going to limit the questions and comments to just a couple per person. So if there's anything that you don't have the opportunity to say, please email me later and I'll make sure that the case presenter gets that. And then also just really let's be mindful of their main sort of question or goal when we ask questions and comments. So questions for Carissa about this client. Sandy.
Carissa, has she had a diagnosis for any sort of back problem? And if so, what is that?
No, she hasn't. I know that she had seen a chiropractor and was getting treatment on her bad back, but there was nothing long-standing or lasting. So I don't think anything specific was diagnosed.
And how long has that been going on?
For a year.
Okay.
Yeah, a year.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you, Sandy. All right. Any other questions for Carissa? All right. Oh, Sandy has another question.
What is her sleep patterns? Do you know?
Yeah, well, she says that she consistently gets 6 to 7 hours every night. And so I don't think that she's taking any naps or anything like that, but those that seemed like solid sleep to me, so I didn't really indulge in that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Terry. Oh, you're muted.
I guess my question would be, is it hereditary? The around the middle, because sometimes it's hereditary. So do you know?
I don't know how. I can't go as far back like his great grand parents or anything like that, but her parents do not typically suffer from specific just middle weight problems.
Yeah, I was just wondering about body shape,
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Terry. All right, let's do one more question. Dorothy.
I have a question.
Oh, sorry. We'll get to you, Anna. Dorothy, go ahead.
Real quickly, I'm sorry I was late. Did you say, has she done some kind of workouts in the past? Is there anything she's done in the past that's worked for her?
She is active. She does a lot of cardio, and she does that like 3 to 4 times a week. And in the past, she hasn't suffered from this particular issue. And so it's always been just a lot of cardio and staying active that way. Weight was not much of an issue for her growing up. And so right now, she's 29 and she's just concerned because her usual activities aren't resulting in the loss of fat around the middle area. So that's where the questions come up.
Thank you. Thanks, Dorothy. So so for the person who called in the last 4 digits, 2740, who is that?
Hi, Danielle.
Hi, who's this?
Hi, Danielle. This is Dolores, and Carissa just answered my question. I was going to ask about exercise routine or what she's doing for that, but she pretty much answered that.
Cool. Thanks, Dolores.
Thank you. Thanks.
Cool. So I'm sorry to have to cut people off at this point, but let's move on to recommendations. So let's give Carissa like 3 or 4 recommendations. Jensen.
Hey, Carissa, maybe she should try maybe like water aerobics or something. That way it's not, too hard on her back or anything, but she can still get that exercise. Maybe a little bit more intense than what she can now because of her back.
Cool. That's great. Thank you, Jensen. All right. Other question or recommendation, sorry. Peggy.
This is Anna.
Oh, Anna. Let's go with you first. Anna.
Okay. Have you, if you kind of do research and you check and see that a lot of times a lot of carbs and sugars, that's where they settle in, is in our stomach. So maybe if you, I don't know, I didn't get if you drink any sodas or did a lot of sweet stuff, maybe cutting back on that.
Cool. Thank you, Anna. Yeah, so cutting back specifically maybe on sugar and carbs. Thank you. Peggy, let's go to you. Recommendations.
Yeah, I think Carissa said that all she has is coffee in the morning. And it's been proven that eating breakfast definitely gets our metabolism going. And once our metabolism is going, of course, we start burning calories. So that might be a small, but tried over time, it could have a little impact on weight loss.
Cool. Thank you, Peggy. Jessica.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I agree with what's already been said. Usually increased weight in the stomach area is pretty much food, right? Like there's not a ton of exercise that you can do to help with that. So I would suggest that she do some calorie tracking, you know, maybe use the like MyFitnessPal app or things like that, just so she can get a really good idea of what she's taking in and see how, you know, how the Sprite and maybe some other choices, you know, can affect the calorie intake. And then also too, I would suggest incorporating in some resistance exercise as well, along with the cardio, and see if that helps her burn a little bit more fat.
Cool, thank you so much. All right, so in the room here, does anybody have any recommendations? My one recommendation just for back pain is I have found acupuncture to be really, really helpful for back pain. And I cannot tell you how acupuncture works. It feels like magic to me, but it gets to sort of like the root of the pain. So it is like also sort of preventative. So just in terms of if she doesn't want to go to the doctor and have some sort of diagnosis of her back pain, that might help with that. But really great recommendations, everybody. I'm so sorry we had to be so quick about this. Carissa, thank you for that great presentation. We look forward to your re-presentation form. Yeah, everybody mute clap for Carissa. Perfect, beautiful. So we are gonna move right along to the next presenter, who is Anna Moreno. All right, hi Anna, go ahead and unmute yourself. You guys are just champs. Thanks for rolling with us on this. So Anna, go ahead and present, and Stephen has pulled up the case presentation. Give me a thumbs up if you can see the case presentation. Fabulous. All right, Anna, go for it.
Okay, so mine is a non-clinic client. She is a female, 32-year-old, Hispanic, and how do I get client to engage in exercise with a full schedule? What are the patient's goals? She wants to lose weight and be more health conscious. What are the patient's strengths? She's interested in diet. What will lead her to this success is plan healthier family meals, motivated to begin exercises, be more physically active with family, interested in time management, manage time more effectively with family. The only exercise that she does, because she does have a full schedule, her days start at 5 in the morning, and she finishes up with the homeworks with the kids. She has 5 kids, about 9:30, so she's probably going to bed about 10:30. And then of course she gets up about 4 o'clock in the morning. So the only exercise she has is she lives on the 2nd floor, and she just walks up and down the stairs daily. And sometimes she'll even do it twice at that moment because she knows that she is obese. Barriers to exercise is a full schedule. The kids, she has them in sports, she has them in dance, and they're 2 different locations. Her husband works full-time, and he's a full-time student working on his master's. So she doesn't have too much time. Her diet, she says she eats twice a day, and frequency, she eats out like twice a week. I mean, 2 times per week. She cooks about 3 to 5 times per week. She doesn't use no vitamins. She does all the shopping for the groceries. The barriers to healthy eating, of course, is social, family, and she's always more concerned about her family more than herself. She always cooks extra so that she can take leftovers to work for her and her husband. Her breakfast, she doesn't have a breakfast. She doesn't drink anything in the morning. For lunch, she'll have something from leftover and maybe a sparkling water. She always takes like a small container, so she was like something small, probably less than 12 ounces. I don't know. For snacks between lunch, she'll do a handful of yogurt covered pretzels, water, and a Red Bull. For dinner, she'll eat the leftover. She had leftover enchiladas actually, and a sparkling water, and then and it's like a 7-inch plate, she said. And then for after dinner, she'll have like yogurt covered pretzels. She really didn't indicate how many. She just kind of said that like a handful. I did the eating competence self-assessment total, and her total was 23. She does have a primary care, although she hasn't been to the primary care, she said probably in 1.5 to 2 years ago. She is 65 inches tall, which is 5 feet 5 inches. She weighs 218 pounds. Her BMI is about 36.27. I did do the PAR, and she rated 7. She's not a diabetic. She doesn't have no cardiovascular disease. And I did administer the PAR-Q. She didn't answer all of them. They all were no. She has no behavioral health concerns. I did administered the PHQ, number 2, and she answered no to all of them. She has no substance abuse. Any other members of the household overweight or obese? She said that her husband is slightly on the overweight now, but he was very active as well until he started going back to school to get his degree, his master's. Health beliefs, she doesn't really have any. She's just Hispanic culture. The only medications that she's on is Zyrtec allergy medications. And that is about it. She says that she does, they do go places, so she does get a little exercise. They just finished going for 2 days on the weekend to Disneyland, and they went to Adventure Park. So she does do a lot of walking when they do get to go out, but pretty much she has a full schedule. And she doesn't know, well, she did indicate that she did stop taking the birth control pill because her husband got fixed. So maybe that could be why she has gained a lot of weight. So I told her she should make an appointment with her primary care so that she could see what's going on with her. Because anything could have happened in the last 2 years if she hasn't seen one.
Cool. Thank you, Anna. Thanks for that great presentation. I'm going to summarize it, so let me know if I miss anything, okay? So Anna's client is a 32-year-old Hispanic female, and her sort of main question and goal is how to engage in exercise with her extremely full, busy schedule. She is focused, she's interested in diet, exercise, and time management, and she seems pretty motivated to do those things. She just can't really find the time right now. Her BMI is 36.27. She's no longer on birth control, but she takes allergy meds. She eats 2 times a day. About a little bit more than half the time she cooks at home for her family. And she scored a 23 on the eating self-confidence test. And yeah, does that about summarize it, Anna? Is there anything else you'd add?
Yeah, I did ask her if she was feeling like depression or anything like that. And she said no. She says she just has a full schedule, and, she's managed to her time schedule is pretty good, but if there's any advice that we could give her to manage it much better, then she's willing to do it. And the exercise, she's just salary employee, so she works a lot of hours. So she picks up the slack for her husband, and she tries to do a lot of things on the weekends. She does go to church on Sunday, so that's just another extra thing. She's like, I'm turning to you to see if you can help me. So,
that's great. Okay, so thank you. That's good. So she's really busy, not only on the weekdays, but also on the weekends. So let's go to some questions on the network. Does anybody have a question for Anna? Sandy.
Anna, do you know what kind of meals she's cooking at home?
The only meals that she says most of the time, well, she does, she did indicate that her kids, she packs them a separate, she makes them a healthy lunch because they do take lunch to school. So what she eats, it's totally different than what she gives the kids. But she is Hispanic and she cooks a lot of Hispanic food. So that could be where she's picking up the pounds. I did indicate to her, because I read something that if you eat 500 calories less every day, you will lose 1 pound per week. So I told her to try that. So let's see if that's a true statement.
Thank you, Sandy. All right, Carissa.
Did she, when she was younger, was she familiar with exercising? Like, is that something that she used to do? What kind of exercise?
She was very active, she said, but that when she started taking the birth control pill, although she did get pregnant with her last 3 kids, well, actually her 3 kids, because the other 2 are twins and they're of her husband's. And she said she was very active until she started taking birth control pill and she just started bloating up. So, I mean, she said she'd go to the gym and all that stuff. So she said now that she's a salary employee, that she works more hours, and so she's, she tries to manage her time as best as possible and fit in everything else around it. But she keeps her kids active as well. Her kids are not even overweight. They're all in good shape. I mean, they're, when she was telling me the ages and she showed me pictures, they look pretty good. So she's the only one that really has a problem. Her husband, though, looks like he's starting to gain weight compared to what he used to look at before. So I think it's just they're not as active. Maybe it's what she's eating. That's why I told her, we can go over some meal plans and we could talk about that. And she's willing to take the time to do that, to see if maybe she can cook, more, be more health conscious with their meals.
Cool. Thank you for that question, Carissa. Thank you, Anna. All right, Alondra.
My question for Anna will be, is there a reason why she packs different lunches for her kids and herself? And if, she's so restrained in some time, is there a way that she could like pre-pack, the food or the lunches that they will be taking for the week instead of just doing it day by day?
Well, thank you, Alondra.
I think it's just, she says she has a schedule and she goes by it, but most of the time, she makes some fresh sandwiches. She does have all those snacks that you buy at Costco. She says she'll give them fruits, juices. You mean so that she can have more time to herself? Is that what it is? I didn't really get into all the specifics, but she's kind of like a time schedule. Like she starts at one time. She makes sure all of them take showers. Well, most of them. If not, they'll take a shower the night before. But the children's ages are from 1-year-old to 12. So they always have homework. So she helps one, helps the other, then the other, then the other. So she kind of bounces back and forth with the kids because her husband, since he went back to school to get his master's, and he's full-time, plus he's salary also employees. So she kind of lets him have a lot of time to himself and she picks up the load. So she says she can't wait till the summer.
Thank you for that question, Alondra. Thank you, Anna. All right, let's do one more question. Chris.
Okay, it's kind of 2 questions. And I'm getting back to her original question, which is how we can engage her in exercise with this full with this full schedule. 2 questions. Does the employer sponsor any kind of exercise, gym, health benefits? And the second question, is there any way that she can sort of do double duty while her kids are at their activities? I'm assuming that it's like a soccer field. Is it a safe enough area that she could be walking laps while the kids are, doing their soccer? And could she make that transition instead of having to be there to cheer on their everything? Could she do the walking or even running or some other kind of exercise, maybe even with another partner, parent from there, to at least be able to incorporate a little bit of exercise while her kids are doing their activities?
Cool. Thank you, Chris.
I know she said no, the employer does not offer anything for the employees so that they can, you know, like some companies have gyms, not in this case for her. As far as soccer and stuff, because she says that on the weekends they have a tournament, but she did say that because she has a little one, she does walk around sometimes, but she doesn't stray too far because she has one kid playing soccer on one field, and then she has the one that's 6 years old playing in another field, and then she has the twins playing in another field. So she kind of like goes back and forth. But I didn't even write that down because, I mean, the way she was making it sound like they're all connected. But I mean, that's just probably the only little bit of exercise she's getting aside from walking up and down the stairs. I did indicate, you know, if that's the only exercise that she's getting, maybe she can double, triple it up. And she just started laughing and saying, yeah, you know, they'll probably complain downstairs because with all the kids, they make a lot of noise climbing up the stairs. So I don't know.
All right.
But I'll let her know.
Cool. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Anna. So we're going to roll into recommendations right now. Chris, I guess sort of what you were saying was a question, but it could also sort of be a recommendation, which is taking that time on the soccer field and, you know, perhaps doing what you can. Is that right? Chris, go ahead.
Yes, but after hearing that there are children of so many ages, I didn't factor that in, that she actually had to watch some children while other children were engaged. So I guess now if we're moving into suggestions, my suggestion would be this poor woman that she drank. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. That's not even a funny thing to say. My suggestion would be, could she carve out an hour early in the morning before anyone gets up and do something within the safety of her home, an exercise tape, something from the internet that she could participate in, knowing that her kids are sleeping and aren't going to need her, and she wouldn't have to drive anywhere. And also just looking at, I know we're talking about her exercise, but in her diet recall, there's no mention of any produce at all. So I'm wondering if she could, if we could change her dietary habits, that might also, lead to better exercise. So could we suggest like maybe some produce and like 86 the Red Bull?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you
very much.
That's
probably where she's picking up the sugar, the Red Bull.
Definitely. All right,
recommendation. Drinking Red Bull too.
Yeah. All right, Sandy, recommendation.
I have two. Maybe sit down with her and have her make a schedule with you and write it out and look for any gaps or areas that she could add in some exercise. And then the other one was to call on friends from the team to watch her kids while she does maybe a walk with, around the track or something. I know that when I had kids in sports, I had a few best friends that would take my kids home or help in some way if I had to run an errand or something. So that's another suggestion, is call on some friends.
Great, thank you. Tapping into those communities. Thank you, Sandy. Any other recommendations on the network? Terry.
Well, I guess I'm going to kind of going in, seeing the 2 times just on the dinners that she was having was the enchiladas, and I'm kind of going with take the cheese out, put the vegetables in. It's great for the kids. It's great for her. Instead of just, I don't know, I guess when I think of enchiladas, I only think of cheese and corn. So it's carb heavy, and picking up a Zumba, because the kids would like that. Then they could put the CD on and they could all dance in the living room. She's got lots of kids. It'd be a lot of fun.
I love that, incorporating the kids into exercise. Thank you, Terry. Yeah, and making those foods just a little bit healthier, just improving them. Thank you so much. All right, Dorothy, our last comment, our last recommendation on the network.
Just reiterating about the going to the PCP. You know, she has so much going on, but it could really help her to see about the birth control. And the yogurt covered pretzels were I ate that and peanut butter and tortilla sandwiches while I was in school, and that's all I had. And I just my stomach just expanded. So I would definitely say ease off on those.
Cool. Thank you, Dorothy. All right. Brent, any recommendations in the room?
I have a couple of comments. I'm not sure if it qualifies as recommendations, but
go ahead.
One, I definitely heard you say over and over that family was important to her, and so you absolutely want to investigate more about what are ways that the entire family can get involved in all the processes. So yes, from a traditional Hispanic family, women often feel like it's their job to do all of it, but the amazing thing about including your family is that you can do 2, 3, 4 birds with one stone. That if you're doing it while you're making dinner and you have different kids doing different parts of helping, you can have kids doing homework and you can interact at the same time, and the kids are a part of that conversation. So I think, and this is just another, the competency scale is really not a score. And I probably wasn't very clear, but we score it on a 1 to 10 scale to give you an idea. But let me just take 2 seconds and say, for number 1, it's really a place to start a conversation after someone fills this out. So think of it as 5 and below or 5 and above.
And Mary, I'm just going to pause you really fast and remind everybody. So that was a handout that we gave out during the Art of Healthy Eating. Oh yeah, look at that. Anna's holding it up for us. Thank you.
Oh, great.
So that was, I believe, in your folders that we gave you. And if you don't have that, let me know and I can email you a copy of that later today. Yeah, thank you, Mary. Sorry.
So the idea and the focus of this is really, as people talk, you're trying to look at what area does what they're talking about fit into. And then from a score, I hate that word, but for lack of a better word, if it's below 5 on number 1, then you're trying to think, okay, they don't know hunger and satiety, so what is it that that might be an area to start to look at around eating, is hunger and satiety. Do you know when you're hungry? Do you know when you're full? Can you describe the physical feelings? Are you comfortable with the food you eat? Again, if it's below 5, then there's something going on. Like, you'll hear things like, I should be doing this, or, I'm supposed to do this. That kind of talk tells me that they're not really comfortable, that they have an idea of what they should eat and then what they really eat. And it's hard to tell, are they telling you what they should eat or what they really eat? And so again, it's a place for conversation. Do you plan for eating or do you grab food? If it's above 5, then that's another place of conversation. So it sounds like you're really busy and you do a lot of grabbing and not a lot of planning. So how can we incorporate planning meals with the whole family? So again, these are things to help you with the conversation. The goal is to increase people's competence around eating. And then do you seek or avoid food? So if it's below 5, that's avoiding. That's that conversation. Those are those words that you hear that it's like, oh, I buy soda for my husband, but I don't eat it, or like I have to hide it, or things that sort of give you those clues that, again, there's a relationship with food that's more adversarial than positive. And so the thought with that is that it's so easy to just jump right into coming up with all these ideas of how people should lose weight. And if I said anything over those few days that I was there, it's really, what does she envision for herself? Start with not any thoughts about how to change anything, but what would be ideal for you? What would you like to see your day look like? Give her something that she can have tangible that she wants, and then help her figure out how she's going to get there. So that it doesn't become, I can come up with an excuse for every suggestion everyone said. Because that's human nature. You know, oh, I'm too busy. Oh, I'm too that. But when it's her vision and her desire, then you can help her get there with those motivational interviewing and looking at ways that are not me saying, change this, eat less fat, do more of this, but trying to get her to own it and trying to get her to say, what do I want to see? What's the perfect vision of my day or my family's day? And then, okay, what's one place we can start? And where would you want to do that? Keep trying to remember that it has to come from them, that we can't jump to solutions before they've even had a chance to think about, do I really want to take this on, or am I still contemplating that I don't like who I am or how much I weigh or something like that.
Yeah. Thank you, Mary. That's awesome. And I wrote all that down, so don't worry, I'm going to send it out. Thank you. Thank you, Anna, for that great presentation. And thank you all for your questions and comments. And thank you, Mary. It's good. I think maybe I should update the case presentation form to make it more clear that we're not looking for a number, but like a conversation from that. So yeah, I'm getting a thumbs up from Krista. Thank you. You're so affirming, Krista. So I'm going to send out an updated case presentation form to you guys that I think, and then also Venice, after last week, asked that maybe we ask something about like personal triggers in the case presentation form. So look for that over the next week. I'll just be sending just a slightly updated form. But Anna, thank you so much for that great presentation. Yeah, everybody mute, clap for Anna. Wonderful. Perfect. So really fast, I'm just going to check it. Mary, in terms of time, it's 10:50 now, and we have one more case presentation. Would you like to go now, and then we'll try and do the last case presentation at the end, or would you like to do a case presentation now and then do yours?
That's whatever works. If people are on, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do Sabrina's case presentation. And we'll just be very succinct about it as we have been today. Thank you all again for rolling with this. So Sabrina, kick us off.
Okay, so my patient is 64, female. And my main question for her is, how can I encourage her to be active and to educate her on nutrition? Her goals are to lose weight to help with, I guess, like back issues and other issues that she has because of her weight. Her strengths, I pointed out that she's reliable and dedicated to her job. She's dedicated to caring for her elderly, demented mother, and she realizes how her weight affects and relates to her other health issues. She's not active. She's only active at work, helping for lunch duties or doing household chores. She sits at her desk or drives most of the day. She also has no time for exercise because she works and cares for her mother, and of course her back pain is another barrier. She does eat 3 meals a day. She eats out maybe like 3 times a week. She cooks most of her meals 3 to 5 times a week. She doesn't use any or take any vitamins. She shops for her own groceries. And barriers to healthy eating is access to fresh food and just a busy lifestyle. Another one of her strengths, I wrote this on my paper, that she did mention, like attempting to lose weight, she lost 5 pounds just by like cutting out sodas, which she would drink a lot. And looking like at her meals, like she's always consistent with them. Like she has, you know, balanced, I guess. She always has 3 meals a day. I accidentally put that she doesn't have diabetes, but she does. She was recently seen by her provider, and she was actually referred to me from mental health, and she, you know, she has anxiety and depression. That's why I didn't answer the PHQ, because I already knew. And she's the only one that's overweight or obese in her household. When she came in to see me, she didn't know exactly what medication she took for her diabetes. She does take like pain relievers over the counter and prescribed for her back pain. I think that's it.
Cool. All right, thank you so much, Sabrina. All right, so I'm going to summarize it. Let me know if I miss anything. So Sabrina's client is a 64-year-old female who was referred to her from behavioral health. The main question that Sabrina has is how to motivate her client to be more active and to maybe work with her on nutrition education. So the client is diabetic, has anxiety, depression, and also back pain. She has a very busy life. She works a lot at a very sort of sedentary job and cares for her elderly mother. She eats about 3 meals a day, and she recently cut diet out of her, or soda out of her diet, and that was helpful. Yeah, does that about sum it up? Oh, and her barriers are that she's very busy and that access to fresh food. Does that about summarize it, Sabrina? Cool, thank you. All right, so let's just do a couple of questions for Sabrina. Any questions on the network? All right, let's do Carissa.
Yeah, what was her BMI?
I took it off of like her chart, and I think it was kind of wrong. But I kind of calculated it again, and it's 33%.
Thank you. All right, thanks, Carissa. Isha, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering how long has she been diagnosed with depression?
I think it's been 2 months is what she's been seeing, you know, mental health for, that she got referred over to them for.
Okay, so it's a recent diagnosis.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Isha. Thank you, Sabrina. Peggy. You're on mute, my dear.
I'm sorry. Is she 6'7"? Is that her height, or is it?
No, it's 67 inches, her height.
67 inches. Oh, okay. All right. I just wondered. I mean,
I know, it's
yes.
The way I got it off of her chart. It was in inches already. They already had her information calculated.
Because I was thinking if she's that tall, which is perhaps unusual. One considers she can afford to carry some extra weight, you know, obviously if she's that tall. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Peggy.
Sorry.
All right. Mary, did you have a question?
Sabrina, I was just wondering was she, and did you and her talk anything about like how she sees, does she feel like her depression is influencing her eating, or was there any discussion around her concerns?
Yes, I talked to her about it, and I guess she talked to the provider, and it's not her weight that's actually causing her depression. It's other factors, but that was one of her like main points that would maybe help her feel better if she could improve on her weight, her nutrition. So that's why they sent her back to me.
Okay, great. Okay, I see. Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Mary. Thanks, Sabrina. All right, let's do one more question for Sabrina, and then we'll go to recommendations.
This is Anna.
Hi, Anna.
Hi. Have you, did you kind of talk to her a little bit and find out more or less like what does she eat? And maybe, if she's interested in changing, that's what she wants to do, is work either, what her goal is it to get the motivation, or is it to exercise, or is it motivation to change her diet?
Thank you, Anna.
Mostly to change her diet. She has, with her back issues, like her focus is not really exercising, but just eating healthier.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
She does have like pretty well balanced meals because of where she works at. They provide breakfast, lunch for the people there, but that's why she eats pretty good breakfast and lunch.
Cool. Thank you, Sabrina. All right, so let's go to recommendations. Recommendations on the network. Who has a recommendation for Sabrina? All right, Aisha has a recommendation.
Yeah, I would just like to suggest making small, achievable goals for the patient. So that way she's able to, because I know that she's recently been diagnosed with depression, and even that deteriorates somebody's motivation to even to like get out of bed, that type of thing. So I would encourage making very small goals, and then that way she kind of has that sense of accomplishment, and it kind of like, oh, this feels great. Like I actually got out of bed this morning. So little things like that. And then you can like slowly build up to like, maybe you can walk 30 minutes a day, that type of thing. But yeah, small achievable goals for the patient.
I like that. Thank you, Aisha.
Thank you.
I actually have a comment/question. So has she seen like a diabetes educator?
No, she hasn't. We're in the process, of course, Lordsburg, Hidalgo Medical Services, they are in the process of hiring like new, educator. I think the problem was that a certain doctor she needs to see to get help from like echo educator diabetes. She's not willing to switch providers yet because he's leaving already. So that's why I just try to provide her with like as much handouts as I can, just until like she gets someone set where they can, a dietitian or a diabetes counselor, just somebody that's gonna, be more reliable for her.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess my comment is sort of around that, and just around like maybe working with her, having a conversation about her diabetes, and then food and nutrition for people with diabetes, and then sort of maybe rolling that into her sort of hopes for eating healthier, but through the lens of like eating healthier, but for someone with diabetes. So maybe sort of thinking of those things together.
Yeah. And our goal, I should have mentioned it, so I provide outreach to the place where she works. It's part of our organization. So once a month I go actually to her place and present information, and I'm planning to do maybe chair exercises, but I'm planning to take our diabetes educator with me, so that way she if they have questions for diabetic specific anything, she'll be there to answer those questions.
Awesome. That sounds cool. Thank you, Sabrina. All right. Other recommendations? Mary, do you have any recommendations?
I think, Sabrina, that I liked how you presented her strengths, and were, really reiterating again that, build off of what those strengths are, that she's eating 3 meals a day, and that, if she's concerned, then the conversation can be within the meals that she's eating. What does she see that, might be different choices that she could make? Again, you want it to come from them, and just really create that place where they can think about what's realistic for them.
All right. And I'm sorry, go ahead. Is that Anna?
Yes, again. I was going to tell you, Sabrina, did you happen to, by any chance, maybe show her the healthy plate and kind of explaining that a little bit more, and going into the details about the carbs and stuff, and then maybe kind of work her in from there. Let her set her own, make her own menu as to what she would like to eat and what she likes to eat, and take off from there.
Yeah, so when she was sent to me, she's not really, she feels that she's doing what she can because she's so busy. I did present, handouts and stuff. So when I do go over there next month, I'm planning on doing, some kind of healthy plate, presentation. We have all, the fruits and vegetables, the fake food, where I can kind of model it for her. Mm-hmm. She'll be there, so hopefully she'll take in some of that information.
Cool. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Sabrina. All right. So, okay, Dorothy, last recommendation.
Real fast, just to affirm her for stopping the sodas and the fact that she has seen the relationship to stopping sodas and actually losing a little bit of weight. I think that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dorothy. All right. Thank you so much, Sabrina, for that. We look forward to your representation of that and seeing how it goes. Thank you all for your questions and comments. That was great. And I will be getting out the notes on everybody's recommendations to the presenters. And just so you know, I'll email them to you, but then I'm also going to upload them into iEcho so you can also see them there. Awesome. Thank you all so much. You are like rock stars at case presentations. Yay. Okay. So we are going to go on over to Mary, who's going to present for us today on label rating and the excitement around that.
There is excitement around
it. It is exciting when you do it, Mary. So Mary, why don't you come over here if you want to? Do you want to stay there? Do you want us to pull up your PowerPoint? Okay.
You can put that up.
Okay.
That'll probably
perfect. Okay, so give me a thumbs up if you can see the first page of the presentation. Excellent. Look at those nice thumbs.
All right.
Very nice. Okay. All right.
So yeah, just hit the next slide. So before we even get started, I want everyone to sort of look at the scale and put yourself on that scale from 1 to 10, 1 being that you're starving, hungry, and 10 being that you're totally full. And mentally think about, what's a physical feeling that goes along with whatever number you assign. So I'm going to keep encouraging you for yourself and for everyone you work with, that here's a great place to start the conversation. And it can just be a right here, right now. Or that you ask people to do this, just before you eat or after you eat. Think about where you are on the hunger scale. And the more we can connect to this idea that I understand what my body's telling me and the feelings, as well as, whether I'm eating because I'm hungry or I'm eating, and, sometimes that helps people, like if you are depressed and you realize I'm not really hungry, but clearly I'm having other feelings. So what's that feeling? Maybe I don't really need to eat. I need to address the feeling that I'm having. So this was just to try to bring and connect back the tools and the ideas that we're trying to work with our patients on. So we can change slides. Okay, so here's a quick review. Sum up, so I have a list of these words. What are these? Who remembers from our work last or 2 weeks ago? What are these? It's anybody?
Unmute and shout it out.
Everything that we need in our body.
Macronutrients.
Micro.
Excellent. So we need it. They're nutrients. And if you look at the top 3,
Those are macro, and the bottom three, I heard someone shout out, those are your micronutrients. So that's great. Good job. Next slide. Okay, so now here's the real test. And again, just if you can unmute and shout it out. So this nutrient helps your body build and repair muscles and skin. Which nutrient?
Protein.
All right. So flip the slide real quick. Oh, yeah, I can see why I'm supposed to be over there. Come on, Danielle. Wake up. Come on. Oh, yeah, here we go. We can just give you this computer. Okay. Cool. Okay, so there's protein.
Pictures.
Woo-hoo. All right. So these are just looking at the varieties. We're going to go on to the next quiz. Okay, this nutrient is essential for life. It has no calories.
Water.
Water.
Woo, all right. So, water, conversations around eating and what have you, exercise should always include water. And we always say, especially in New Mexico, but I was traveling in the South and I felt like I drank more water and it was even more humid. So just drink water. Okay, next, name that nutrient. Has more calories per bite than any other nutrient. Supplies energy.
Carbohydrates.
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 Carbohydrates is not a bad word. It's not a 4-letter word. It's not a bad word. It's essential. Oh, can I get? I'm sorry. Here we go. We weren't thinking about that, right, were we? The most nutrients. It supplies energy, but really it's my mistake. I heard someone say carbohydrates and I wasn't paying attention. So looking at fat, this is actually fat. Fat provides 9 calories per gram. Protein and carbohydrates only provide 4. That's why we only need little amounts of fat. Still essential. So we have to really work on knowing that fat is good and it's not bad, and that there's selections of fat and quantity. Okay. These are needed for healthy cell function and immune support.
Vitamins?
Great.
Mm-hmm. Vitamins.
Oh, here we go. Woohoo. So both vitamins and minerals. Your body does not make these. They come from the fruits and vegetables. And what's so important here, we kind of talked about it, is that everyone wants to spend money and buy your vitamins. And what we really, are encouraging is that you eat your vitamins. You eat your vitamins and minerals. Okay, last one. This is a name for sugar and starches.
Carbohydrates.
There we go. And your body turns this, uses this for energy. And what do we want to focus on with carbohydrates? What kind?
I didn't hear the question.
What kind of carbohydrates are we looking for in terms of healthy food choices?
Complex.
Right, whole grain complex. So you want those whole grain breads, high in fiber, and not the refined. So in the refined would be more chips, soda, white flour.
I have a question about that. So I didn't know bananas were carbohydrates.
Okay, so we have some vegetables and that are considered, and then the reason is that they're starchy. So like potatoes, corn, bananas would fit for a diabetic. You would have to consider that as a part of how you plan. And so we just try to increase. And there are
It's a higher carbohydrate fruit and vegetable than many. Interesting. Okay, thank you. Okay, so food labels. Why do we have food labels?
So we know what's inside the food.
Okay, so we know what's inside the package.
The packaging.
Okay, because we know what's in food, right? What's in a carrot?
A carrot.
All right. What's in a steak?
Protein, fat.
Okay, so it is meat. And it technically needs no label because there's nothing else in it. So food labels really are about describing what else is in the package besides real food. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it does.
Okay, so we're going to play a little game. And that's really knowing what you eat. And so by looking at a list of ingredients, I want you to decide what is this? Okay, so in the sake of time, let's read.
Bread.
Let's read the first one. I'll
Bread.
read it. Enriched white flour, water, partially hydrogenated soybean oil, egg, buttermilk, baking soda, sodium aluminate, phosphate, monocalcium phosphate, sugar, salt, calcium carbonate, soy lecithin, B12, B6.
Pancake mix?
Hey, that was really close.
It's bread, isn't it?
It's a waffle mix.
Oh.
Okay? So, who makes waffles at home? What do you put in your waffles?
Coconut milk.
Okay. What are the three main ingredients?
Eggs, flour, milk.
Yeah. Okay. So, and it could be coconut milk, it could be regular milk, it could be soy. But, basically, and then maybe some baking soda to give it a little rise. So, typically, maybe 5 ingredients to make something from scratch. So, again, we're looking at how many ingredients and what kind of ingredients. So let's read the bottom. Look at it. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll read it. Fresh beef, ground yellow corn, soybean meal, corn gluten meal, wheat middlings, ground wheat, beef tallow, flaxseed, calcium carbonate, yeast, salt, corn distilled by grain, vitamin A, B12, zinc.
I have no idea.
Hot dog?
That's a good guess.
What did that person say, Mary?
Pardon?
What did the person say that you thought was a good guess? You said?
Oh, hot dog.
Oh, hot dogs. Okay.
Hot dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about dog food?
I was gonna say it sounds kind of healthy.
It did, didn't it?
Like I know what those things are.
Yeah. More of those things. So, okay, there's more, and you can look in because you have access to these. But the whole point, really. Okay, I want to read one more. Okay, you convinced me. Water, corn syrup, hydrogenated vegetable oil, high fructose corn syrup, sodium caseinate from milk, natural and artificial flavors, xanthine, and gum polysorbate.
Creamer, non-dairy creamer.
Okay, that's really, really close. Cool Whip, whipped cream. Like spray the whipped cream stuff. So most of these things, the point is just, it's not even real. There's barely one real food in there, water and some caseinate from the milk. And that's the point that we really want to start looking at when we look at labels. What's really in it? So this is the really quick and easy version of reading labels. Because I'm going to be the believer that eat food, real food, in variety and moderation. So the majority of your food should not have a label. That's the very first rule of thumb. Now, do we all eat some packaged food? Absolutely. So when you're looking at a label, here's some of the stuff. In the yellow, those are places that you want to limit. And a rule of thumb is 5% or less is low, 20% or more is high. So in that limit area, you want to be looking for what's 5%. Do you see anything in there that's 5%?
No.
Oh.
No.
So this is packaged macaroni and cheese. All right? I'm sure many of you maybe have made macaroni and cheese yourself. Again, you can make macaroni and cheese with pasta, some cheese, and some milk. You can choose to use low fat as opposed to whole fat milk. So there's lots of ways to decrease that. But this is just a really fast look at a label. So getting enough of in the blue area, you're looking for, that's what you want to get plenty of. And so in the 20% or higher is where you're hoping that those percentages land. Is there anything in this group that meets the 20% or higher?
Only the calcium.
Okay, so we're getting some calcium, and that's good. Mm-hmm. So anybody have any questions? Like just quickly with the idea of glancing at these and saying, is it 5% or less, or is it 20% or higher? Okay, thumbs up, good. So at the very top, it always tells you on a label that the serving size, what the serving size is, and then how many serving sizes are in a container. So that's really important because the calories then and everything else listed is by serving size. So if this is 1 cup is a serving and there's 2 servings,
that's 500
the whole thing, it's not 250 calories, it's how many calories?
500.
So it's a tricky piece that sometimes people, they just see the 250 calories and they're like, oh, I'm good. But maybe there's 4 servings and you ate the whole box. So you got to really think about that ahead of time. Okay. So, can you see this picture enough to answer these questions?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to glance, just using the rule of thumb, we're going to glance how many servings are in package A?
1.
10.
Oh,
okay.
Right, it's 1 cup and 10.
1 cup is a serving, and there's 10 of them. Okay, that's okay. Always. So next one, how much total fat is in 1 serving of the food in package A?
3%.
2 grams.
Both of those are correct. 3% of all of the calories is fat, and that is 2 grams. Okay? Which food is lower in total fat, package A or package B?
B.
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 Okay. Now the only thing you have to be tricky there is, and this isn't a good example of it, but in this case you're looking at the grams. Because you could have something that the density is off, and so the percentage of fat for that food is higher, even though there might only be 1 gram of fat in it. And so you want to look at grams there. Which food has more fat? Okay, Anna?
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to get off. The provider needs our phone.
Okay, thank you, Anna.
Yeah, sorry. You guys have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
So which food has more fiber, package A or package B?
They have the same amount.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Same amount, yeah.
So that's what you're looking at. Now, in both of these instances, let's look at the ingredients.
Ooh.
A lot of sugar on B.
All right, so absolutely, the way ingredients go, the number one item listed is the highest, the ingredient that there is most of. Okay, and it's by weight. Okay.
Oh, Mary, can you say that again? The very first ingredient
Is the ingredient that is the main ingredient in this product.
Oh,
okay? And that is determined by the weight. So if it's a 10-ounce box of cereal, and then like we can look, so sugar is the main ingredient, and if you go up to sugar in the nutrition facts, it'll say 14 grams.
Yes, as opposed to 5 grams.
So the majority of the product that we're looking at is sugar.
So they're required by law, which is good, which is excellent, which is very good.
That's required by law.
I never knew that before, Mary. Thank you. What an eye-opener.
Good.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, but then let's look at it from the rule of thumb of, even in a packaged food, 5 ingredients. You get much past 5 ingredients and you're reading things that are hard to pronounce, that you don't even know what it is.
Right.
So how many ingredients on average are we looking at in either of these?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I want to show you another label really quick. So I should go back. What do you think these 2 labels are?
Oh.
I like marshmallow on the second one.
Crispy treats.
Oh, one is like Lucky Star. I don't know. Yeah, cereal that has marshmallows in it.
Yeah.
And then that's B. And then A is another kind of cereal.
Yeah.
Okay? And so then now I'm showing you another label.
Okay.
So we had one of those cereals had 14 grams of sugar. What does this cereal have?
1 gram.
1 gram. Yeah. What else do you notice about the 5% or the 20% rule?
It's got a lot of protein. It doesn't have any cholesterol or sodium.
So it's low. There's a lot of 5% or lower in that area where we want to keep low.
Yeah.
And then what about in the 20%? Is there anything in there?
Well, it's got a lot of carbs, so you might want to be careful on the carbs.
So what about carbs?
It's kind of high, but it's good for you. So I don't know.
So look at the dietary fiber when you're looking at that. So the 2 things they always put when they're doing carbs is dietary fiber and sugar. That's what, that's making it up. So it's got a lot of fiber. There's 5 grams of fiber. Is there a lot of sugar?
No.
No.
So let's go look at the ingredients.
Can't see it.
It's to the far left.
Oh, it's just 100% rolled oats.
Yeah. So there's one ingredient we have here. Okay? Rolled oats. Good alternative?
Yes.
Yes.
Looking at, do you get an idea of the kinds of difference that you get from a packaged cereal to a one ingredient? Now, rolled oats comes in a package and they have to have an ingredient label when anything is packaged. But it really helps to realize what's in that package. The ingredient list, the order of ingredients. So, all right. We're going to move on real quick because I have 3 minutes or less. What component of eating competency does label reading contribute to?
I think it's everything.
Okay. Anyone want to guess on a specific? It does. It absolutely is going to relate to everything. But if you're really thinking about, do you plan for eating and do you grab food?
Are you comfortable with the food?
Are you comfortable? Do you trust yourself when you stop? Doesn't really kind of go there. And do you seek or avoid? So I'm going to suggest that it really could go in the grab and plan. because you're weighing, you're comparing. This is something that can be a tool for how do you make choices or how do you plan your meals. Are 90% of my meals coming from a box? Or I have to read the label? Or are most of my meals coming from real food where there isn't a label? So again, I'm trying to take some of the tools we talked about in the training and incorporate them how you can work with people. Learn how to read a label, but also know what's the, what is, if everyone is just reading labels, that could be a red flag that all my food is coming from something that has a label, and let's talk about that. How do we increase fresh or more fruits and vegetables, whether they're fresh or canned is another.
Mary, may I ask a quick question, please?
Yeah, so we're done, and questions is appropriate.
Okay. Steel oats, S-T-E-E-L, what exactly is that? And I notice it's always a bit more expensive than what we might consider to be regular oats.
So steel cut oats are oats that have been cut and not rolled. So they're the exact same thing, an oat is an oat, but it's a different method. So it's a little less processed. If you're cook, like some people like it for flavor a little, but you have to cook it a little longer than whole rolled oats. Those are flattened and rolled, and they cook a little faster. Quick 1-minute oats. Then if you read the ingredients and the labels, be really careful, because then as they start pushing it more, they sometimes also add other things to it. But it's really mostly cooking time, and a little bit of the consistency will be different in all three, from steel cut to whole rolled oats to 1-minute oats.
Thank you. Thanks.
Sandra.
My question is, will we get copies of the slides that you just showed us?
Yeah,
and,
so the PowerPoint is in iEcho.
Okay. Okay, and then my next question, can you go over the 5% and the 20% briefly one more time?
Can you bring that back up?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're looking at a label, and for the most part, labels are set up like this all the time. You have the serving size at the top. We're working on pulling that up. And I'm going to keep talking in relation to time. So the next is going to have your fats. Let me look. I'm not looking at anything either.
Fats and sugars and
fat. Yeah.
Sugars.
So we highlighted them in yellow, and
you got it right here. Bam.
And those are the ones.
Okay. So so that the yellow area. You're always going to have your total fat, and they break that into saturated and trans. Does anybody want to take a stab at those differences? Saturated fat, where does that come from? Animal fat. Okay, so saturated fat is the best way to remember it is animal fat. Trans fat. Anyone want to take a guess what that means?
Is that the same as unsaturated fat?
No.
No.
So unsaturated fats come from vegetable sources.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. And trans and typically, so fat is in, like oil is a soft form, and to make it hard is a chemical process, and so that's a trans fat, because they have changed and altered the natural state of that fat to a liquid at room temperature to a solid or semi-solid at room temperature. So that chemical process, there's people who believe that, and all of this is, I can give you as many studies that say trans fats are bad as that some people say they're not. But I'll give you a really good example, and that is a margarine is oil, and they make it into a stick or a cup by a chemical process. And the verdict's out. I mean, I'm a believer in eat your fat in the natural form. So if it's that, there's nothing wrong with saturated fat. It's animal fat, and so it's variety and moderation. You know, I try to maybe take a leaner cut of meat, but it has fat in it, and fat is good for you. It's essential. I tend to eat butter and not margarine, just because of like it. So so those are the 5%. So when you're looking at those percentages, you want them to be 5% or below. If they're above that, you're questioning. Okay, this is high. If it's more than 5% saturated fat, you're hitting the high end. The blue numbers are the ones you want to be above 20% or around 20%. So it's a really quick comparison to say, okay, that dietary fiber, I'm looking for 15-20% of fiber, and how much is it giving me? Okay.
Not giving any fiber.
Yeah. So, so this is macaroni and cheese. You know, this is carbohydrates. You want there to be fiber in your carbohydrates. That's what makes carbohydrates good and not a bad word. Okay, I'm being cut off.
We're cutting her off. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Mary, thank you so much for coming and presenting on this. I think we definitely all learned something.
All right.
Yay, Mary. So everybody, I'm going to review the survey results about the extra 15 minutes. Fingers crossed, everybody can do it. And thank you all for your wonderful case presentations and feedback today. And thank you again to Mary for being here. And if you have any additional questions that come up around food labels for Mary, absolutely send them to me, to Mary, to Stephen, and we'll make sure that Mary gets them, and we will definitely address those because, you know, I know that this is something that all of us come up against in our own lives and also with clients. So please write those questions down, get them to us, we'll get them to Mary.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, thank you all so much. Have a lovely rest of your week. Thank you so much, and take care. I sent her a message. Teresa, call me afterward. You're not in trouble. All right, bye everybody.
Bye.